Yo, what's good, boys? We are back at it again with another MLB The Show 25 video for you guys, and today is going to be a real quick tier list, just going over all of the new content from this whole week for the most part, or at least the relevant content as I see it. So if you guys do enjoy, like and subscribe. Again, top 50 coming soon. It's just with this huge drop of cards, I kind of need a little longer to kind of figure out where each one sits in the meta. So if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, all that, let's get into it. So first card here, Ryan Helsley, B tier. Like, he's just a pure outlier reliever. He's got 4 pitches, but it's not 4 good pitches. It's like 4 seam, circle change, slider, and then a curveball. So it's definitely upgrade from the gold. You see a lot of people running around with the gold, and if you just have to have an outlier guy, then he's here. But he's just like a better and a worse Mason Miller, where he's probably just better Mason Miller, but he's also worse for his price. Nate the Great, A tier. I think he's equal, if not better, to like that Easter DeGrom that a lot of people were running. So I think he's a super solid option there. I think Gallo, C tier. People did point out the vision. I still think he's super usable. And just with his swing and the power splits that he has, I view him as like a third base left-handed Santander. So not super similar, but he'll just get weird swing results to go his way, and he'll just pull some home runs where your PCI is not even on the ball. So I don't care a ton about the vision, but Joe Adell, C tier. Like I said yesterday, he's just like a cheaper Buxton, whereas Buxton has crazy quirks and just a really good swing for most people. Joe Adell, he's cool, like he's fine, and he is free as long as you just run through the Moonshot program. So there is that. Yohan Moncada is paid at second base. He's more similar to like, he's like a more well-rounded Brian Roberts, where you're trading, I believe, a little bit of power for just more speed. Plus, he's going to be in a secondary as a third baseman. I don't feel like he profiles that great. He's just basically J-Ram, except without all the quirks and without the insane swing that everybody loves. But he's a cool card, and he's definitely solid, and he doesn't require that much investment to get. Schwarber, I guess, is S tier. It's like, for the price, it's probably A tier, because I view him as like similar to Yasmani and still worse than like Posada or Santana. So I think for his price, he's probably like an A tier card. But just objectively looking at the card, he's probably S tier. Plus, he's actually got some good quirks, so he's not terrible. Seager, S tier. Arguably the best shortstop in the game. I would still take Willie Castro over him every day of the week that ends with a Y. I think I'd take Willie Castro, but Seager has an argument at third base, where I think he could very well be the best third baseman. Jim Rice, statistically, is like an S tier left fielder. You know, those corner outfield spots are weaker. Left field is just naturally a little stronger because you have guys like Jordan that are primary left field, and Jason is primary left field. But Jim Rice, not bad. I think he's always got kind of a mediocre swing with some good quirks and good stats. So if traditionally you've enjoyed Jim Rice, this one should be all right, but not really a card I'm looking out for, and definitely not one I'm trying to pay a BR card price for. Miggy Vargas, D tier. He's like got really bad splits to where he's basically a right-handed pinch hitter against righties. So that's just a bad recipe. When there's a million lefties or even switch hitters you can get that would do the same thing. Dennis Santana, B tier. You know, he's got 5 pitches. It's just they're not 5 crazy pitches. No outlier. And not like the craziest speed differentials. He reminds me a lot of like the Luke Weaver from the last monthly drop, where if you go grind him, he's going to be cool, and he can just be another solid arm in your bullpen, but I don't think he's going to be dominant like I was hoping maybe he would be when we were shown that card. LeMahieu, headliner, D tier. Like, get him out of here. Just not really what you want, especially at a competitive spot like second base. Eric Davis, D tier. Like, this card's very mediocre to be, you know, a cornerstone card that we're getting at this point. I think the other two are better, not miles better, but definitely better. Where Eric Davis always just kind of ends up with these all-star demon cards. Some people enjoy his swing. He's always got pretty decent quirks. But I mean, this free Joe Adele, I think I'd rather run. Randy Rodriguez, I think he's similar to Santana, where it's just another cool arm. Like, he tops out on a fastball and he throws a sinker with a slider and a circle change. I feel like there's a lot of righties. I mean, you can go get the Loizaga from a month ago that throws an outlier sinker. And I feel like they'd be pretty similar. I don't know if this card's completely free. I don't know if he's in the path or if he's in the pack. If he's free, I think, relative to his value, he's probably like A tier. If he's in the pack, I think he just stays B tier. TJ Friedel, just D tier. Like, it's fine. Robbed a home run. I think that's why he got this card, although they justified it with like OPS and stuff. So he's cool. He's fine. Not a card that really stands out. Ryan O'Hearn, A tier. In my mind, I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this card. Hopefully Showzone wants to actually load today. Okay, so we're faster today. Cool. This is just better David Ortiz in my mind. Like, you're losing 5 power left, but you're gaining a ton of contact. I think that clutch is pretty similar, and the power right is pretty similar. And he's not obnoxiously slow. So, and he's actually got okay quirks. Like, he's got pinch hitter, he's got dead red, road warrior, and unfazed. So he's just better David Ortiz for me. If you were running Ortiz, I think Ryan O'Hearn's worth a shot. He always has a good swing. He used to be like a BR Demon card, and now he's like an actual major league player that's not a bronze anymore. So I think he's worth a shot. This Cody Clemens card is one I kind of glanced over, so might have to actually look him up. 88, 107, 65, 118, 108 clutch. Decent fielding. I mean, he's got positional versatility. He reminds me of like a Matt McLean type card, except he is a lefty. So, I mean, it's a cool card. I think it's just B tier. Like, if you have a gap in your lineup and you get this card, he's cool. Again, I don't know if he's free, if he's in the monthly program, or if he's a pack card. If this is a free card and they're just giving you like a free super utility player, I think that's a cool card, but nothing crazy. If he's a pack card, then he's probably not worth it. Kimbrel, C tier. There's always weird stuff that happens when you have an outlier bouncing around, especially on a weird pitch like a knuckle curve. However, I just always think Kimbrel cards are pretty bad. I think he's at his best when he actually has an outlier four seam, and this card does not. So, not a card I'm looking forward to using. Simeon, probably the best Cornerstone card, and he's not great. Like I said with LeMahieu, it's a pretty competitive position where you have to be at least within striking distance of Brian Roberts, and I don't think this card is. Adam Dunn, probably just D tier. It sucks because I know a lot of people are really looking forward to this card, but he's just a pinch hitter for the most part. He doesn't have the splits necessary to be a full-time player, so he's at best platoon, at worst he's just a pinch hitter, so nothing crazy there. Nate Eovaldi, another just B tier card where he's cool. Like, he's fine. I know he's a pack card. He's fine. Like, they didn't give him outlier or anything crazy, but if you just like those splitter type pitchers, historically, anytime I've used Eovaldi, he's gotten lit up. I don't find him super hard to hit. It's just a matter of like sitting back on the cutter. So I don't think he's anything crazy, but if you are buying him for the Harper collection, I don't hate it. It's not the worst card in the world. Caminero, S tier. Where, like, I should have included Vlad. I don't know why I didn't. But I mean, this is just Vlad, honestly. Like, if we do the player compare tool here, I think this Caminero might be underpriced. Vlad is gonna have just quirks on him for sure. But when you look at these cards, like, Vlad's getting what, like 20 contact, like 5 contact here. Caminero's just lapping him in power. So if anything, that's going to make up for the quirks more than I think you'll notice Vlad's contact for the most part. Vision's practically the same. Clutch is the exact same. Vlad is better defensive, but I don't know if it's by enough to where you'll really notice it. And then the speed's pretty similar. So, you know, just for way less stubs, I think he's like a budget Vlad. I think he's S tier, just relative to his value. Jacob Wilson, I'm going to put in C tier. You may look at this card and think it's like, you know, an F tier card, just because the power isn't really there. And usually I would be on board with that, but I was, okay, so he's just not gonna pop up. I was using his Tops Now card, which I think they reused the same card art, so that's a little unfortunate. But I was using the Tops Now card on the alt to just like grind previous Lightning programs. And his swing's pretty butter, to be honest. The power's not great. The defense isn't great. So he's almost like a worse Jeter, which is hilarious because we got a Jeter today. But he's just like a worse version of what Jeter is, basically. Dev, I think I feel fine putting him in A tier. He's a guy where I'm not using him in my bullpen. I need like a 4-pitch, 5-pitch Devin Williams to really feel secure in using him. But you had people running the live series as late as like a month ago. So for those people, I think this card is going to be perfection. And he's not going to cost a ton because he's a weekend classic reward. So 30, 40K, something like that. Potentially even lower. So should be an absolute stud. Nolan Ryan, top of B tier, where it's never a card that I think is the craziest, and it's not like they gave him a wild card by any means, but he does have outlier. So, dude, Showzone's just on some stuff today, huh? There we go. Has pickoff artist if you care, and has outlier. So, 101 hits, pretty bad control, not great pitching clutch. And then the usual Nolan Ryan special for pitch mixes with a bad control sinker. So he's going to be like he always is. And I think with the way Pinpoint is this year especially, it's not a card I'm trying to use. But if you've been enjoying like pitching Shohei, maybe you can make Nolan Ryan work for you. Scuba, S tier, come on. What are we talking about? Best pitcher in baseball. What an absolute stud. I will say his like through 9s are nothing crazy, but it's not gonna matter because they gave him outlier, which I think he needed to be good. But I don't know if he deserved it just because he threw one pitch 101 miles an hour. But it is what it is. So 91 hits, 86 Ks, 93 walks. Love to see that. Decent pitch clutch, decent control. So that means all of his pitches have pretty good control, and he actually has outlier. So, I mean, this is just, lefties are getting nasty. You've got Scuba, you've got John, you've got Randy, you've got Outlier. You can almost assemble the Avengers. We just need like a good Kershaw or something, and you'll just pitch 5 lefties and be fine with it. Grady, B tier. It's just like a better version of the Kalinick that we got yesterday. So that's kind of how I'm viewing him. Nothing crazy. And honestly, that Jared card might be better than Grady. It's just personal preference. I think Grady has a swing that a lot of people like, but I'm pretty sure Jared has more speed and better reaction. So it's that's a hard card to defend. Hank, I'm not super high on. I use this card a little bit at the start of the year just because he's like a Tigers legend. This card's basically the opposite. He's like a power hitting version of himself now, whereas the card at the start of the year was like all contact, no power. Some people enjoyed his swing. I didn't love it. So I think he's fine. You know, is this going to be a legendary program boss that people run for the next 2 months and that is remembered? I don't think so. But he could have some potential to do something like that, but I don't think so. Jeter, A tier, just because I'm never the biggest fan. I usually hit good with him. It's just usually there's like a 5-tool shortstop I'd rather use instead of like Jeter, which is like a 3.5. Like the defense isn't great. He's not super fast. He never has the craziest power in the world. Always good contact, and they love to juice his quirks, so that helps him. And he's usually got a pretty good swing. As far as like toe taps are concerned, he probably does have my favorite. Whereas I don't love chippers just because he's a switch hitter. I think it feels better. And then the only other one I can think of is David Wright, which I absolutely despise. So he's probably got my favorite toe tap. And he's coming in at a weak position where if this card came out like 2 weeks ago before Seager or like right after Willie Castro came out, he'd probably be S tier. But I think there's just too much competition. And I don't think it's, he's not the best shortstop in the game like he could have been. Harper, S tier, Wood, S tier. And we'll just go the player compare for a last little thing here. So shout out to my Nats theme team. You just need a Alonso to complete the trio. So you can see they are pretty similar. Harper's beating him on contact, but it's like negligible. On aggregate, it's about the same. 107 power for Harper, 93. So Harper just beats him on power. Has slightly better vision if you care. Wood has maxed out clutch, so that's kind of nice, especially. So it makes him the better contact card for sure. Harper has higher fielding, better arm, better reaction, but Wood laps him with like 20 speed. So Wood will probably just be better defensively anyway. So they're pretty interesting and they're pretty similar. I think they both have pretty good swings. I think, just value wise, I'm pretty sure Wood is the the monthly like Pete Alonso type card, or maybe he's just this weekly, but I think he's like the Pete Alonso type card, whereas Harper's like the retro flashback. So just from a value standpoint, I think that's more realistic, but the card itself is S tier. And I think Scooball's probably the best card we got today. Then it's probably Wood, and then we'll rank some like prior drops here. That's probably how I feel about like the S tier drops recently. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's a shorter one, but I just wanted to recap a lot of the content for some of you guys that may not have been able to get on the game, and kind of put into perspective for myself where a lot of these cards will slide into the top 50 and stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that. Till next time, peace.